Professor Gillian, do you want to say a few things?
I'll be brief. I wanted to just thank the questioners for the interventions and to make some closing comments, which are perhaps a little bit more optimistic than some of the reflections, even in my own presentation, because I think that if we're sitting here in the beginning of 2009, it is also important to reflect on where we've come from. And we're sitting here in Cairo, which means that what I benefit from in being in Egypt is that our reflections on an information and knowledge society when we are in Egypt have to be or take account of the fact that a knowledge society is not one that is simply based on technology. And I think that that is what we can take some optimism from. Because 10 years ago, if we were having this conversation in New York or in Geneva, we would be concerned about statistics that reflected Africa as being backward, as being behind the curve in terms of its access and use of technological artifacts. When we make these reflections in Egypt and in Cairo in particular, 15 minutes from the pyramids, we do so from a position of optimism and confidence. And so my closing remarks are really to remind us that in shaping a knowledge society, what perhaps is important is that we take an ethical perspective and we regard a knowledge society as one in which things like creativity, justice, fairness, and equality are important. And then we don't have to feel that we are behind the curve in any of this regard, and that we can feel confident as Africa and Asia that we can actually take the lead in creating a knowledge society which has an ethical dimension. And so I want to leave those as my closing thoughts for this part of the session, that I think that while we need to look at the technical issues, while we need to look at the operational issues, it is also important that we move on from this very important meeting with a sense of confidence and a sense of optimism that we have a lot to bring to bear to this important project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me move to the other speakers and hopefully quickly. Otherwise you'll have your coffee lecture.
Thank you. I'll be very, very brief. I think we need to avoid, as one of the audience who mentioned, that this should not be yet another conference where we have a lot of things to do, then or things to talk about, then get up to the conference and not end up with anything useful. I think we need to converge on certain things. And I truly believe that the education issue is one thing that we can focus on, so that a year from today, if we meet again, we look back and say, yes, in that past year we achieved something. I think we need to remember that technology, as was mentioned, or ICT is a tool. I mean, yes, if you look at Amman or Cairo or Alexandria, for example, many people use the internet, but what do they use it for? Do they use it for the advancement of society and for the creation of knowledge society? I think the answer is no. So I think we have to do a lot at the education level. And one area that we can actually do or focus on, at least this is my recommendation, is training the teachers, training the trainers on the best use of technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pastor.
Just have a small comment on the balance of technological payments. And I think in a globalized world where trade barriers are down, the notion that each country has to be self-sufficient in every single aspect is probably not true. If you look at the landscape, there are 5 or 6 major telecommunication vendors in the world, and these are consolidating. There are 3 or 4 major vendors of infrastructure networking products in the world. These are probably consolidating. So I think when measuring the balance of payment of technology, one has to look at not just the actual technology used, but how that country uses it. For example, countries that have a focus on tourism or banking industries, they can be heavy users technology. Without exporting technology, but they're exporting services enabled by that technology, that should be also a factor.
Very well said. Well, let me thank our speakers for excellent presentations. Let me thank you. And it's time now to have a coffee break. And please, I think you should be back here. Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. One.
السادة المشاركون، صباح الخير عليكم جميعا. قرر السيد وزير السياحة إقامة حفل عشاء على الساعة 8 في شيراتون دريم. نتحرك من هنا إن شاء الله الساعة 8:15، وهذا الجهد يكتب إلى مكتب السيد وزير الخارجية بالتنسيق مع وزير السياحة. سعادة السفيرة هتكون الليلة في استقبال وجود إن شاء الله. معي السفيرة منى عمر، هي جالسة قاعدة بتضحك. نكون مع بعض، أنا وضحتها عشان تفهم. فبكون فقط شاكر بعد الجلسة الختامية الساعة 5 تقريبا، 5:30 هتخلص. يعني تاخدوا راحة لغاية الساعة 7:30. كمان نروح نتحرك بالأتوبيسات أو السيارات إلى شيراتون دريم، خطوتين. وشكرا جزيلا.